Hey, one of my favorite things to do is to introduce you guys, the people who are viewing my videos, to unique content. I like to bring unusual stories to the forefront that you guys may not be familiar with so that I can extract an important lesson from it. Okay? What I want to speak about is the dangers of YouTube, essentially. There's a popular genre on YouTube right now that features former inmates telling their stories. And a lot of these guys actually build big followings and they get a lot of money in donations. So let me introduce you to Ryan Leone. He's actually cutting up drugs in this video and going on a rant. And he feels entitled because he has a fan base and he's famous.
It means something to me though, guys, because it means that my content means that much to you, and you have no idea how much better it's about to get. I'm gonna unblock every single person on Patreon. I just don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just not gonna check the comments. That's not made me snooty. It's because if you knew how fucking busy I was, I have to go to France this month. To go to New York this month. I just got a puppy. I have a 4-month-old. I have a 3-year-old that's in preschool. Except it's shut down right now. I have to take care of a sick mom. And taking care of a sick mom means you're inadvertently taking care of a healthy father because emotionally he's having a hard time. My parents have been married over 40 years.
Alright, so basically, what you just watched is a short clip of a guy named Ryan Leone. Ryan Leone is actually a guy from California, and he's been to prison a few times, and his story is unique because he's actually a kid that grew up in a wealthy family, but he actually went to prison. Even though he came from this wealthy family, he actually went down this path of going to prison. And he created his YouTube channel a few years ago, and he actually built up a pretty large following. And this is typical of this particular genre that's gaining popularity on YouTube, this prison genre. And I think it's a wonderful thing. Don't get me wrong. I think it's wonderful that former inmates and people who used to live criminal lifestyles, former drug addicts or whatever, can make money by telling their stories. But I think that Ryan's story illustrates how dangerous it can be for a person to actually have thousands and thousands of dollars at their disposal when they're not in a healthy place. And the reason why he's so comfortable making these videos of him doing drugs, cutting up drugs, even though he has children, is because he feels like he's famous, and he feels entitled. And a lot of these guys that become famous for these prison shows where they share their prison experiences or drug addict experiences are they have mental health issues. And basically, I think this needs to be shown because a lot of people support guys like this financially, and I just think that it's just a conflicting thing. It's just a conflicting thing. You're supporting people who essentially have been drug addicts their entire lives, have been in prison their entire lives. And one of the worst things for an active addict or somebody who has mental health issues is to have a bunch of money,
And he's cool, because he doesn't live in LA. Now, this is what's cool about people that don't live in LA. Credits mean something to people that don't live in LA, right? To me, I don't give a fuck. They're just trying to give me a credit on, a pretty big movie. It's out in the movie theater right now. Is it? I don't know. Simon Rex is in it. It's called Red Rocket. I went to the premiere.
And Ryan has actually wrote a book, and he sold his book through his YouTube Patreon. Basically, if you gave him a donation, he would get your information and send you the book. The book was called Wasted Talent or something like that, and people were really excited about this book because, after watching a person on YouTube for a certain period of time, you begin, they feel like your friend, and you get to a point where you see that they're making progress in their life. You see that they had a bad past, and you feel like you want to contribute to them. You want to help them out in their new lifestyle. But sometimes that can be a bad thing, and like I said, this Ryan guy is just constantly talking about how he's friends with all of these different famous people, which he has met famous people before. But I just think this is very alarming because this guy feels so comfortable coming on YouTube, recording these videos of him doing drugs and just blabbering off, and his fans love this kind of stuff. You know, they support this stuff. This is the kind of stuff that they actually love about these guys who, you know, have these bad pasts. You know, they like the drama. They like the dysfunctionality, and I just think it's sad. You know, I just think it's sad that people actually make stars of people who they know have these serious issues, but they contribute financially to them, and it further destroys them. I mean, this man is doing drugs with his kids in the house, and his wife is there as well, so she's taking care of the kids. They're not being neglected or anything like that, but it's just, you know, it just makes me wonder, is this the right thing to do?
Producer credit on that film, right? Had nothing to do with that fucking movie. The only reason they wanted to give me that credit was because the director was such a big fan of Florida. Like, wet over it. When I was saying, you're stupid, I'm so fucking loyal. I'm a loyal guy. It took me almost 20 years to cut Jeff out of my life. You know, but, you know, and unfortunately, we moved our separate ways. We outgrew each other. You know, he went
Cutting
real
up drugs,
extremist, and I went real practical. There's no proof. Look at the. My girl doesn't have a job. I do everything. Just was able to get a 3-bedroom house. Relatively brand new Beamer. You know, it's 3 years old. I got everything I want. And I have more money than I've ever had right now. And the guy...
And he's basically telling you, hey, I've got a lot of money because I'm making money from Patreon. I've got people who are paying me $100 a month. I've got people who are paying me $50 a month because I tell good stories about my time in prison and my time as a drug addict. But as you can see, this is a slippery slope because a lot of these guys are currently doing these things that they claim they did in the past. And YouTube allows these guys to have a platform where they can generate all kinds of money. Like this guy Ryan, for example, actually started a fundraiser on GoFundMe for Narcan. Narcan is a chemical, it's a substance that you use on people who overdose. And he said that he had a plan to buy a bunch of Narcan because his friend overdosed, and he wanted to do it in his name. He wanted to memorialize his friend by buying Narcan, and I think making it available to people who need it or whatever. And he made like $3,000 from that, and a lot of people are saying that he actually scammed the people and used that money for drugs. So I'm not trying to knock the people who have channels about their prison experience and drug addict experience. I'm just saying use common sense, you know, because when you give these people money, you're basically putting them in a position where they're going to kill themselves, you know.
But there's a lot of people pissed at you people. Because you don't even realize what the fuck you were doing. Like, especially like calling my mom and telling her son died and saying I raped a chick. I've never had raped a chick. I've never even been accused of that or anything. And when I told Haley that, she was pissed. Now you got another fucking rich family suing for slander. That's the worst thing you can do. Is pretend to.
And he's lashing out on people in the YouTube comments who are making fun of him.
We got all... Dude, we have your home addresses. The guy in Daly City, bro. I'm gonna be up there pretty soon. I'm gonna be up there. I'm gonna come see you. Come see you with a couple of my homeboys. We're just gonna talk to you. That's it. But stop harassing me, dude. No, you know, like I don't give a fuck. You should know that by now about me. I finally found the guy that raped my kid's mom.